Are you tired of being a passive YouTuber and ready to take the leap and start your own channel? If you're anything like me, then you've spent thousands of hours watching YouTube videos, and maybe you've even thought about starting a channel yourself, but you don't know where to start. You don't know what videos to make, how to shoot the videos, how to edit the videos, what software you need, what gear you need, so you just don't do anything at all. I know because it wasn't that long ago that I was in that same boat. And what I'm hoping to do in this video is to sort of give you some of the things that I've picked up and learned on the way so that maybe getting started will be a little easier for you. The first thing I want to touch on is what videos you should be making. If you're considering starting a YouTube channel, then chances are you have a specific topic in mind. Maybe it's a hobby you've been doing for a while and you want to share your knowledge with others. Whatever the topic is, chances are you aren't the first one to do it. And that's okay, because you can actually use others in your niche to help learn from and to draw inspiration from. Take my niche, for example, photography and filmmaking. There are tons of other creators in this space, and really it's the bigger creators like Peter McKinnon, like Maddie Hipoya, who even inspired me to pick up a camera in the first place. Now the question is, how can you use this inspiration without copying them? My advice to that is, don't be afraid to copy successful videos, especially in the beginning. If you see a video in your niche and you see that it did well, then try and create content around that. What's the expression here? Don't recreate the wheel, don't reinvent the wheel, whatever. Take a video that is already proven to have done well and add something new to it. Maybe the information in the video is outdated. Maybe the video is too long. Maybe the video is too short. Whatever the case may be, there's always something new that you can add to a video in order to bring your own creative spin to it. As you start to get more experience and you start to make more videos, you can start experimenting with different styles of videos and making up your own video ideas along the way. What I'll say is just pick a niche and start creating content. You can always pivot later, but it's more important, especially in the beginning, to just start getting your repetitions in and to just start putting videos out there. Everyone always wants to know about the gear. I did an entire video where I broke down exactly what gear you need to shoot a YouTube video, so I'll link it up here. But I'll summarize real quick here. You don't need to buy a camera if you don't already have one. Just use your smartphone mounted on a tripod, especially in the beginning. I'll likely do a future video on cameras I recommend for beginners, but just stick with your smartphone, keep it simple, and just start making videos. Okay, one thing that I would recommend that you buy is a microphone. It doesn't need to be a crazy expensive microphone. I'll link a few options down in the description that aren't too expensive. The point is that the audio that comes out of your phone and the audio that your camera just records straight out of the camera is not good. So audio is something that you do want to invest a little bit of money into because, well, audio is half the content. When it comes to lighting, although it's not necessary to buy a light, I would recommend buying one constant light. You can pick these up for fairly cheap on Amazon, and I'll link a couple options down below. Why I recommend buying one light rather than using natural light if you can afford it is because you're in full control of that light. The problem with natural lighting is that you have no control over it, so it's really hard to get a consistent look or shot for your entire video, especially if you're filming over a long period of time. Okay, so once you make your videos, you're going to need to edit them, and you're going to need an editing software for that. There are a lot of options out there, but the most commonly used editing softwares are DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere Pro, and Final Cut Pro. Final Cut Pro is a Mac-only editing software, and it is a one-time cost of $399. Adobe Premiere Pro is available on both Windows and Mac, and it's a monthly subscription. The cost of using Premiere Pro is going to depend on whether you're just using Premiere Pro or you're also using the other apps in the Adobe Creative Cloud suite. If you're buying the entire Adobe suite to get access to Photoshop, Illustrator, and Lightroom as well, then the cost of the entire suite is $55 a month. DaVinci Resolve is also available on both Windows and Mac, and it has two versions. The first version is the free version, and it can basically do everything that you need it to do, especially in the beginning. The studio version costs $295 as a one-time fee. Personally, I've been using Premiere Pro for a few years now and have recently decided to switch to DaVinci Resolve. This is for a couple of reasons. First, it's free, so I don't need to pay for the subscription anymore from Adobe. And second, it has really cool color grading features that I wanted to try out, and once I did, I decided to stay over there. Because I just wanted to try it out, I've been using the free version, and honestly, it does everything that you want it to do, especially as a beginner. The paid version comes with some really cool masking features and noise reduction, but I would say that you're not gonna need that until you know that you need it, if that makes any sense. The only downside with going with Resolve over Premiere or Final Cut is that there are a lot more available tutorials for Premiere Pro and for Final Cut. I'm sure this will change, and there's still plenty of tutorials out there that'll get you going, but just something to keep in mind. And so taking all of this into consideration, Final Cut, DaVinci, Adobe, and all of the different aspects that go into that, I would definitely recommend going with DaVinci Resolve free version as a beginner. Okay, so aside from editing software, there are a few other tools that'll really make your life easier when it comes to editing. Before I get into them, this video isn't sponsored by any of them. These are my own thoughts. No one had any input on it. So with that in mind, let's keep going. All right, so the first of these tools that I use on all my videos is Epidemic Sound. Music really brings your videos to life, and Epidemic Sound has thousands of tracks that you can sort by mood, by type of music, by artist. The cost is minimal, like $12 a month or something like that. And in my opinion, it's totally worth it. I've been using Epidemic Sound since I started making videos, and I haven't looked back. Just as a quick note here, in case you're wondering, you can also use the free music on YouTube in the YouTube studio, but the selection is limited and it's just not as high quality as the Epidemic soundtrack. So, I mean, try it out for yourself and see for yourself. Another tool that I use a lot is a tool called Motion Array. Now, this one you might be able to hold off on until you're a little bit in, just because the cost is a little bit more, like $30 a month, but it offers titles, overlays, graphics, subscribe buttons, all types of little graphic add-ons that you can add to your videos to make them more interesting. I use Motion Array for most of my videos, although lately I've been trying to make some of these graphics myself. That being said, it will save you a lot of time if you're willing to pay that subscription price. I think the most important question to ask yourself is why you want to make a YouTube channel to begin with. If the answer is to get rich and famous, then you're probably not going to make it as a content creator. You need to have, as with any other thing in life, you need to have kind of a bigger driver, a bigger goal, whether that be to help people, whether that be to inspire people, whether that be to create something of a legacy that people can look back on forever. There has to be something other than just a monetary goal in order to drive you to keep making better content and to keep hitting record. It's gonna be a long process and you can't expect overnight success. I mean, sure, you may get a bunch of views in your first couple videos and blow up, but the chance is not likely. So realistically, you should expect that you're gonna make lots of videos before you get any success. And so having this driver, having this motivator, having something that really fuels you to continue making videos is gonna give you the best chance to succeed. I mean, what's that saying? If you do something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life, something like that. Just keep that in mind when you're moving forward and try to forget about the numbers and the money and the subscribers and just put good content out there.